Welcome to ProjectAlan and my Mk2 Golf project car. Last time we worked on it, we cleaned up the engine bay as best we could in preparation for paint. But before we paint it, I need to cut some holes in the firewall. Mainly because, well, I need the clutch. The old engine used a cable-operated clutch, and now we're gonna upgrade to a hydraulic clutch. To make that happen, I need this. This is the whole brake master cylinder thing from the Passat, and for now I mainly need this bracket because I'm gonna use it as a template to know where to drill the holes. Step 1. Remove the bracket. There are 4 nuts that need to be removed. They are 13 mil. I should have removed the clutch master cylinder first. 2 10 mil nuts. And this is the bracket that we need. So, with the bracket removed, there's these 3 studs over here that correspond to the old mounting points for the old brake master cylinder and servo. And if we offer it up, you can see that these 3 holes line up, but this one doesn't, because we need to drill a hole for it. I'll take this stud and use my paint marker to put some paint on the tip of it, and then I'm gonna offer it up again. Make sure I'm as straight as I possibly can be, and push it on. And now it's very tiny, but here is our little mark. So now I'm gonna use a punch and a hammer to make a dent where I need to drill, and that will keep the drill bit from wandering around and wanting to slip off. And now it's actually time to drill the hole. I'm gonna use a smaller drill bit at first. Drilling into your own car is always nerve-wracking, but has to be done for the better future. Then I'm gonna step up a bit to a 5 mil drill bit. And to figure out the size of the hole that I need, I'll just use these holes as templates. So 9 mil is close enough. And now time to test fit. And I can see that the hole is pretty good, but the old pedal box is getting in the way. So I'll need to remove that first. So removing the pedal box is fairly easy because we already removed the brake servo and master cylinder. So now there's just a few plastic pieces like that need to be removed, and that one because we need to move the carpet out of the way because 2 of the nuts are under the carpet. It's very awkward to film in here, so I'll come back in a sec. With the carpet out of the way, we can get to the lower bolts. So there's one under this flap right there, and there's another one right next to it under the flap right there. So we need to remove those 2. There's one right here and one at the top right there. With those bolts all removed, next step is to release the steering column. Very difficult to show you, but there's a bolt right there that holds the top of the steering column, and I think I'm gonna remove the U-joint from the steering column as well. Should make it easier to just pull it out. Hopefully we'll see how that goes. With those bolts removed, it's still a huge freaking pain in the ass, so I think I'll just remove the whole steering column and use these safety bolts. So I need to cut a slit in them to undo them. Forgot how annoying this job is. Well, that was a pain in the ass, but one of them is coming out. Pain in the ass number 2 is coming out, and the steering column is free. Now I need to disconnect it from the steering rack. There we go, steering column out. Now with all this space, I should be able to just pull the pedal box out. Of course, easier said than done. After wrestling for a while and not being able to take out the freaking pedal box, I realized that this is not letting me pull the pedal box out. This is where the clutch cable used to come out of. So I need to remove this rusted clip. And hopefully with this shit out, I should be able to remove the pedal box. And of course I found more rust. Yay! Oh, you piece of shit. Finally, free space for activities. Now I can test out the hole that I made. Let's try this once again. And thankfully it lines up. Now I'm gonna put a couple of nuts on the backside to keep this properly in, and then mark the hole for the master cylinder. With it in place, I can mark the hole. And with it removed, we see where we need a big ass hole. After drawing some lines to find the center of the circle, thanks school for teaching me that, time to punch the center. To drill this hole, I will use a Christmas tree bit, and to see what size I need, I'll just stick it through. And even on the largest size, this one is a bit small, so straight through it is. Okay, quick test fit time. And let's see if the master cylinder fits. And yeah, the hole is still a bit small. Got a larger step bit drill, so let's make the hole bigger. Well, it jumped around a bit, but the hole is big enough now. And the clutch master goes in perfectly. Hell yeah. With the clutch master cylinder hole cut, there's one more hole or four that I want to make. This is a heater box from the Passat, and you may notice that it's a little bit different here. That's because it has air conditioning, and I really want air conditioning in my car. I think it's the biggest flex to have a classic car like this with air conditioning. So to install this, I need to cut some big ass holes into the firewall, and I don't really know or have any reference where to cut the holes. So I'll use an interesting method to find the points where I need to cut the holes. I'll use 3D scanning, and I think this is the cheapest way to 3D scan. It's just a Xbox 360 Kinect camera, and I bought an adapter for it on Amazon, and we'll try it out. To do this, we'll need a Kinect camera. I got this at a flea market for 10 euros, but the problem is that even though it looks like a USB, it's a proprietary connector, so we need an adapter. This is the adapter. The Kinect camera plugs in here. Then you get a simple USB plug and a power adapter. With the camera connected to the computer, we need an app called Connect. I think it's the best one that I tried, at least. It's not supported anymore. You can only get it on forums, Reddit and stuff. If I'm able, I'll try to leave the link in the description for it. But basically you just choose the size of the thing that you want to scan. So I'll make it 1 point, maybe around 2. We'll see how this goes. And then just click start, and you can see that stuff is happening. So to actually start scanning, you just press the red button and go around the place that you want to scan. Normally I would like to see what I'm scanning, but I want you to see this time, so I'll just try to guess it. So all I do is just try to go really slow and give it a lot of data to make a good point cloud. So the red parts are where the camera is too close to the object, and the green is where it's fine. And when you think that you're done and the scan looks decent, you just press the stop button. And when you're done, this is pretty much what you will get. In my experience, it's better to have the scanning area as small as possible. That way it's more detailed. And now you can see that it's a little bit wavy, but you can understand what is where. So we see the rough area where the inlet and outlet for the AC should be, and this is where the drain should be. Obviously you can see the tire strut tower and the front leg of the chassis. So now I need to scan the AC box itself. I propped up the AC box to get a better view of the part of it that I actually need, and the process is exactly the same as last time. Move slow and give it as much data as possible. Try to keep the parts that you actually need in the green, and you should have as much light as possible, but for the demonstration purposes this should do. To me, the most important parts are the studs where things bolt up. Even though the Kinect camera is not very detailed, but it should give us enough information to find the places where we need to cut. And now we have the scan of the heater box. With the 3D scanning done, I use Fusion 360 to clean up the files and do what I need to do with them. So this is our engine bay scan, and this is the heater box scan. So I lined them up, and this is what that looks like. And we see like the bright purple things are the firewall and the darker blue things are the heater box. And as we can see, this should be the drainage hole, and it's mounted on a rubber piece, so this can move about a bit. So we see that it lines up very nicely with this bump in the firewall. And if we look at the inlet and outlet of the AC, if I turn on and off the heater box, we can see that this stud is in the same position on both heater boxes. So this will make it very easy to cut out the hole for the expansion valve and the mounts. So as we saw in the 3D scans, this stud is in the correct spot, but we still need the hole and the other mounting point. So I took off this plate of the AC heater box, and we know that this stud is in the correct spot. So I'll try to make it level and give it my best shot to mark it correctly. The other nut was stuck on there good, so I'll line it up again and mark the other hole. I'm gonna make a small 3mm hole first. And now I need to somehow cut out this bit. For that I need to remove the heater box first, so this stud is not in my way. To remove the heater box, there's 1, 2, and 3 nuts. These studs go into plastic, so there's a massive chance that they will start spinning and there's no way of holding them. So you'll have to get creative to remove them. This one is usually fine, but these two always rust and pain in the ass to remove. So, because I have the dash out, it should make it a tiny bit easier. So first I need to remove this duct here. It just pulls off. Under this cover there's an electrical connector for the blower motor. Just got the wiring harness out of the way. There's this holder right here. Should be able to remove it with my hands, and I do. 2 Phillips head bolts for the central vent. Just pull it out. If I'm not mistaken, all this should just pull out now. And here we go. It's completely out. You can kind of see what I was talking about. It's threaded into the plastic and it just got unscrewed, but you can't pull it out because of this nut thing over here. So you have to cut out the stud from the outside or something and remove it that way. With the heater box out of the way, I need to remove some of this sound deadening. It's just held in with some clips. I lowered the sound deadening, and Volkswagen has even provided a rough guideline of where this should go. So there's the little hole that we drilled, and now we can start cutting it open. Gonna be fun. I was thinking about how to get these corners as nice as I can, and a 10mm drill bit looks pretty damn good. So I think I'll mark 4 centers and drill 10mm holes to act as my beautiful corners. And it's Dremel time. Okay, so rough cut is done. Now I'll probably use a sanding drum to clean all this up. And we have our hole. Is it perfect? No, not really. Is it gonna do the job? Hope so. It should, I think. With the evaporator hole done, now I need the air conditioning drainage hole, and I cut out this piece from the Passat. So I'm gonna try to trim it a bit and put it right here. I trimmed the piece. Now it should be a bit easier to put it on flat on the firewall itself. So all I need to do is line it up the best I can, trace it out, and cut it out. And bam, it fits. Hell yeah. So, as I was test fitting the AC heater box, I see that this bracket is in the way. So let's drill out the rivets. And as we can see, everything lines up very nicely. I made sure that the drainage is properly on, and it is. These 2 studs and the heater outlet. Perfect. With the heater box installed and fitting perfectly, well, not at the moment, but it's just loosely in there, there's still one little issue. These are the AC lines from the Passat, and I would have loved to use them, but they don't fit that well. Because the wings on the Passat are wider, these lines, this in particular, goes under the wing, but Mark II does not have space for it in here. So the solution is to throw these away, and I got myself some Mark III Golf lines, and they fit much better because they go along the frame rail, both of the lines, and it will make it much easier to fit all this in. There is a few problems with this plan. First of all, there is an expansion sensor on the Passat line, and the Mark III doesn't have it. It's on the, I think it's the dryer. So there's still some pieces missing, but a very good start indeed. So thank you so much for watching me cut holes in my car using some very cheap 3D scanning for reference. That was so much fun, and this Kinect camera will be a great tool in the future. Now we have the clutch and the AC. Next, I think we need to be able to shift some gears. So see you in the next one. Bye!